Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, this is an incredible crowd. Thank y'all so much for coming out today, spending your Saturday morning here. I do want to mention, we actually have two generals here in the room this morning. We have our Insurance and Fire Commissioner, retired Major General John King. Yep. And it's so great that everyone is here this morning. And it's my honor, I'll just say this, we are at a true crossroads in the state of Georgia. We are coming up upon one of the most consequential elections, I think, in Georgia's history. I am a huge fan of Governor Brian Kemp. I think he has done a tremendous job. I think he will go down as one of the greatest governors in Georgia's history. The things we've been able to do, the direction we've been able to turn Georgia has been absolutely tremendous under his leadership. And he shows exactly what good leadership can do for a state. It can literally turn a state around and take it in the right direction. And so we face a crossroads here at this next election. So I'm so glad that you've come out this morning to hear from one of our candidates here for governor. And I'm not going to steal Rick's thunder, but I can tell you he's got an incredible, compelling story. As we heard from the lady over here, humble beginnings, grew up in a tough situation, and became a self-made man, a businessman that built $1 billion business, employed thousands and thousands of Georgians, and during COVID, I think in many ways saved our state. So we really appreciate that. So it's my honor this morning to introduce you to candidate for governor, Rick Jackson.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, I was looking forward to coming to Fayette, but it was worth it just to meet you. Sorry, that was unreal. It did bring me back. All right, I've got to squeeze a 45-minute, no, I'm just kidding. Y'all just, do this when I need to quit, and I'll be glad to do Q&A and so forth. And so my father did leave me when I was 9 months old. My mother was a sixth grade educated waitress, and she was an alcoholic. I never saw my mother actually take a drink and not pass out. She was that kind. When she was sober, she was the sweetest person in the world. When she was drunk, she was very mean and abusive, and would not remember the next day what she did, and which was a problem. I had 7 stepfathers by the time I was 12 years old. I eventually, some of you saw in my announcement video on Highway 41 where I was 10 years old, my mom passed out and I drove home. It was a 57 Chevy, by the way. But then when I was 12 years old, that happened again. I was with my grandmother and my uncle. My uncle was paralyzed and he was on welfare. And so she was drunk again, and I said, I'm going to run away. I'm not going to do this anymore. So he said, well, there's other options I can help you with. So he took his welfare check, $66, I remember the welfare check, called a taxi. We were out in Stone Mountain, and we went and cashed his check at the bank, and he took me all the way down to downtown Atlanta to go to foster care. And he said, you'll be all right, son. And saved me from that standpoint. So I eventually went to 5 different foster homes. Now, you need to understand in the projects, we were taught that rich people were evil. But at an early age, I was in projects on the south side of Atlanta when I was 6 years old, and I walked to church every Sunday by myself. And then when I lived in Techwood, Baptist Tabernacle and the First Baptist Church of Atlanta would come down and have the buses pick us up and so forth. And so I would go to church and I would see people that had a car, a mom and dad. Some of them had homes, and I was really impressed because they could go out to eat. And so as a child, I saw Christianity as being rich because of all the things they had and the stability and some of those kind of things. So from that standpoint, that really really made a huge difference from that standpoint. I went into foster care. The second home I went into, since my mom worked at night, split shift, lunch and dinner, I was by myself most of the time, and as an only child. And so I went to a foster home that had 5 children, and it was the loudest room I've ever heard in my entire life. I was like shocked and so forth. And then they got quiet, sit down, held hands, and prayed. As soon as that happened, I said, that's what I want when I grow up. I saw Christianity in real life in the home, not at church. And so that tied it all together for me from that standpoint. Thank you. I appreciate that. I dropped out. I tried to go to college and worked 2 jobs. I couldn't make it financially, and got married at 19, bought a trailer, lived in Lilburn, Georgia, near Great Atlanta Christian, where I grew up. That was my 5th high school that I graduated from Great Atlanta Christian. And so, and I'll leave out the long, boring, made a lot of failures and successes the first half of my life, and then since 2000 I started over, and we've been very fortunate. When I started over, we had no outside money at all. We were at 25 million revenue, and last year we did do $3 billion. God has been good. But let me tell you how I see my wealth. In 2007, this was difficult for me, but I came to the conclusion it's not my money, it's God's money. And I'm a steward of God's money. And I drew the finish line in 2007. I basically said, for less than what I was worth, which was 1/10 of today, I will live on that for the rest of my life and give away 100% of anything over that. And since 2008, that's what I've been doing. My goal and objective, I've formed over 10 or 12 nonprofits, everything from foster care, pro-life issues, and so forth like that, evangelism. My focus has been to God to have kingdom impact. And any impact, because I think when you help people, that is kingdom impact from that standpoint. So when I was watching, I interacted with President Trump's administration, and I'll tell you 2 quick stories. I bought the last remaining antibiotic plant in the United States, and I came up with a fantastic name. It was in bankruptcy. It's the last one. And I named it U.S. Antibiotics. I thought that was a good name. So, but anyway, yes, you agree with that. Okay, all right, good. Now what I was told is that the Chinese in 2017 leveraged negotiations with this one thing. They said, you cannot win a trade war with us. Period. And they said, why? Because we provide 100% of your antibiotics. I'm telling you, you go one season without antibiotics, and it'd make COVID look like a sneeze in children. There'd be a lot of children dying. So I felt like we had to do that. So in the Biden administration, we changed the name. Well, FDA has to approve it. It took 7 months to basically put the name on the same exact place it's been for 35 years. Then I'm meeting the most important person in the Trump administration, I believe, is Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles is the chief of staff, if you don't know. And I'm telling her about, we provide amoxicillin for 7 cents. And I said, but all of us pay at least $1. And I was telling her all the levels of expenses that cause that to be 12 times higher than what we pay for it. And she said, well, did you know next week we're coming out with Trump RX? And I go, no, I didn't. And she said, well, the reason we're doing that is to eliminate all this middle cost. Can somebody get me a napkin? Thank you. I'm going to blame it on my TechWood project versus my alumni sister. But anyway, so anyway, that's a business decision. Here's the other thing. Last year, we wanted to bring out a new antibiotic that hadn't been existed in 25, 30 years. It's called amoxicillin XR. It means extended release. It helps people with stomach problems, and it certainly helps kids from having to do 3 doses a day. You know how it is to get kids to take doses. Anyway, it hadn't been done. We found out that FDA under Trump had a fast track program. I mean, and so we applied in October. It was approved in December, in less than 60 days. You cannot believe how much money we would save, billions a year, and save lives if we had a streamlined FDA. And so from that standpoint, another business solution from that standpoint. So I felt like I had dealt with the political issues. Let me tell you, under the second year of Governor Deal, I wanted to reform foster care in Georgia. I'm testifying at the state Senate, and when I got through, the chairman of the committee said, well, thank you for coming down here, Mr. Jackson. We don't have many CEOs, but he said, I've been down here 17 years, and I've never heard the words foster care. And you can imagine that just stabbed me in the heart. But you know what I realized at that point in time? These children don't have lobbyists. They don't have representation at the highest level. There's nonprofits and people that care about them, the people that work at DFACS care about them, but nobody was advocating them at this level. and you know what else? There's a lot of people that don't have advocacy and don't have lobbyists and people donating on their behalf. And so I changed my entire political donations, everything, to do one thing. When I met Brian Kemp, I said, when you think of me, it's foster care. So I learned that sometimes you can do more with your influence than your affluence. And so that's what I've been doing ever since that time. And then when I saw what all that President Trump was doing on a business standpoint as an outsider, and I've dealt basically with passing laws and fostering success that just happened and so forth, aging out children and so forth like that. So I've done a lot of work from that standpoint. I've never given $1 to a politician, and ever, you will not find one politician that I ever asked for any favor for our companies, ever. Because that's not the reason I was donating. I was donating to help people to make a difference. So I'll tell you my primary goals and objectives. And like President Trump, they're making about 50 decisions a day up there, just unbelievable that nobody covers. So my list is actually a lot longer, okay? But this is my priority. Number one, I'm going to reduce the taxes by 50% in the first term, and I actually have a plan, and I've forecasted on how to deliver that. The thing that surprised me when I got into this is how insane our property taxes are. I did not know this, except from, I just thought they were taking advantage of me because of my wealth. But the cost of living in 2019 to 24, we all felt it was 23%. Property taxes in Georgia have gone up 49%. That's insane. I've had 6 widows come to me, 2 of them crying, that basically said they're going to have to move out of the house that they raise their children in because they can't afford their property tax. That's insane. That has to stop, and we're going to do that. My approach is to freeze it. A lot of other people telling you they're going to eliminate it. They said that 2 years ago. They said it last year. They said it in this session, and of course they did nothing from that standpoint. But the reason I'm saying freeze and then reduce is because you can't have one suit fits all for every county. Every county taxes differently and so forth, and I don't want to do anything that hurts their police and schools and so forth. But I will have a plan that will not hurt people, but at the same time solve this problem. Now, as a Christian, I don't know about you, and I really appreciated the prayer. I feel like I've been beaten up and canceled and all that for a long time. But if you can't teach Christianity in school, you're not going to teach the religion of woke ideology in school, period. I'm old school law and order, guys. If I get pulled over on the way home tonight, it's going to be late, by the way, then by a 26-year-old policeman, I'm going to say yes, sir, and no, sir. That's the way I was raised. And so when I was 12 years old in Techwood, I had a friend of mine that went down to the Five and Dime, if you remember the name of that store down by Rich's. And a 10-year-old friend was with me. Several friends were with me. The 10-year-old stole something from the store, and they caught him. They put him in the juvenile home for 2 weeks. Two things happened when I saw that. Number one, he didn't steal anymore. And number two, I didn't steal. I saw what happens when there's consequences and so forth like that. So I will make Georgia the number one worst place to be a criminal, especially a criminal illegal, period. I was recently in North Georgia, and in the crowd, a man told me about a criminal illegal that beat his daughter and almost killed her, kidnapped her. This happened in March, and he's already let out. It's ridiculous. So I'm not going to put up. And the reason why I don't believe this idea that the governor did in Minnesota to tell his people to go and obstruct justice and obstruct police, you put them in danger. I had a very liberal journalist ask me about this and pushing back, and I said, I'll give you $1 million if you will show me one video where people obeyed the police and got shot. You will not find it, period. And so from my standpoint, I'm going to teach that in schools. We need to respect our policemen because it keeps you safe. And lastly, this is a personal thing. I'm glad that some of you guys don't see what I see in foster care. And we have prostitutes, pimps that are prostituting our children. We bring them into foster care. I'm going to bury these guys. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. And we have Charlene who will ask you 2 or 3 questions just to keep the time short. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming down to the top of the South.
Yep.
We appreciate everybody that comes down here. I'm going to switch gears, and I appreciate your background and what you shared with us. Down here, we have a lot of concern about data centers, and we know that the state has pushed bringing in a lot of data centers, and that's how they keep telling us, but it's going to save you on your taxes. Here, that's 10 years down the road for us, the way they did tax abatements. What is your feeling? You invested in one, I believe, in Texas, good investment. How do we protect the citizens from all the ramifications that happen after these data centers go in?
Sure. Well, first of all, the first thing, the way you protect is you have complete control. I believe in local control, period, full stop. So I don't think anybody ought to do that. There are about 50 counties, though. So my job as the #1 business developer of the state, and I will do that. I won't delegate that because we need to have good deals. There are certain counties that that you negotiate it correctly, I would think at least 50 counties that will eliminate their property taxes and reduce their power bill. It can be constructed that way. The thing I like it, especially for smaller towns, now Fayetteville is in a different situation, but a lot of our smaller towns, regular data centers that we have now have to be connected to the internet 24/7. AI data centers do not. They just need fiber and power. So some of our small towns and so forth, this could eliminate a lot of income for them, or property taxes. So all I want to do is give people the option. Y'all make the decision. If you would rather keep paying property taxes or not, that's up to you. And you have to build, you got to do the right kind of deal. That's what Trump does. You have to build in guardrails when you consider that. So from my standpoint, I want to give you the option, but I would never suggest you do it over your vote. So that's really up to you.
Okay, thank you.
One more,
One
because
more?
we're
Okay.
kind of, and we're loving you, but
No.
we have many more people.
And I appreciate it. Sorry, Mike, by the way.
Election integrity is a big thing for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have heard that you think that it's time for us to forget about 2020 and move on. That's what I've seen written. My concern is we don't know what went wrong until we finish investigating 2020 to try to stop it from happening again.
Yeah.
What is your feeling about what we need to do with the machines in our election? That's
Well, first of all, I'd love for you to show wherever I said something that crazy. I never said that. Look, what happened, Robert Woodruff of Coca-Cola said, if anybody steals from you, it's your fault. And what happened in 2020 was egregious, period. Now, I think we made a lot of progress by having the new easy to vote, hard to cheat in 2021. But I run a business, and we never give up on that issue. Now, I have reviewed Dominion. I have a software company in healthcare, one of the most complicated things that you can have in the United States for software. I've looked at Dominion. There's no way I can assure you that it's safe, because it's not. It has to get. I've also said if it was possible logistically that paper ballots this year are definitely safer than it. I think it's going to be hard to change that around. And the fact that, but this software, when you go in and do data entry in this software, it does not even say who you are. And here's the other thing, it was not made in this century. There's been a lot more technology done. So the bottom line is, if I'm governor, it's going to get replaced immediately, period, by something that's secure. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming down.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it.